Propheller was another classic. It's actually how I met Mitch, because I was watching Mitch play Propheller. I don't remember how to play this level. Oh yeah, so this was my first new Super Mario Bros. Level, and this was the 6th level I made. So I made this right after I made Ultra Star. Oh wait, no, this is not my first new Super Mario Bros. Level, I lied. This is my 3rd. Alright, so I think this is the first level that took me kind of a long time to beat. Yeah, this level took me 3 hours to beat, and it took me about 3.5 to make. So this is the first, like, really hard level that I've made. So I guess you could kind of consider this level to be the hardest at the time. I don't think there were any hard levels of this caliber back then. But the idea behind this level is this guy. The little propeller hat from New Super Mario Bros. Fun fact, I never really played New Super Mario Bros. So it was really weird trying to learn these physics. So I didn't really know a lot about this thing, this power-up when I made the level. All I know is you could drill things. Whoa! Tupac with a D.
I'm back.
Thank you for the 14 months and the tier 3 Risa, welcome. Appreciate that. So yeah, we did a lot of learning with the propeller hat, and you can go up and you can go down. 2 very simple mechanics, but that's this whole level. You also go big instead of small, which is something different than Mario World. But yeah, the whole idea is you have to keep this power up start to finish, and if you take damage at all, you're deaded. And the whole reason you need it is for the end, because you cannot get all the way up here without a propeller. Well, the intended way is. I don't know if you can actually do it. And there's no way I'm gonna beat this because I don't remember how to play this, but we'll explain like the level itself. So yeah, you have to keep it start to finish. And the intended way is actually you're not supposed to get it immediately. You're supposed to do like something like this. And then you're supposed to grab it like right here. But I think you can actually grab it from the beginning and do some crazy maneuvers, but there's always cheese in my little Pepe hands. Yeah, and then you up here, and then you land on the propeller, and you zoom all the way to here. Oh, you can wall jump. Oh, when you're spinning, oh. Oh, interesting. But yeah, so that's why this whole section exists. It's kind of like the, oh look, a power-up. I can damage boost you things, except you can't because you need this from start to finish. Oh yeah, I placed this up here so this guy can spawn. See, everything's carefully placed and placed at relative max distance, because I think if I move this block over one more to the right, you probably can't make it. So not only do you have to keep the power up, but you got to do some max jumps. Oh, this part's interesting. I'm gonna give myself a propeller, actually. I think this is a max jump. I think twirling does make you fall a little slower, I'm not sure. So this one's pretty tight. This one definitely shows you that you need the propeller, because there's no way you're making that without this power up. This is a pretty tight window, but it's kind of like a visual key kind of thing. It's like not too bad once you develop the visual key, so you can just stand here. So that was a little nice, because that could have made you do something. Like you have like a fallen thwomp here, which would be annoying. Oh, this part's pretty neat. You have to like activate the thwomp, but you can't go too far to the right, otherwise you get hit. And you can't go back to the left, so that's why these coin blocks exist. They're like anti-cheese, but I guess they're also trolly, because you'd be like, oh, I can just activate the thwomp and go back. And you're like, nope, you can't do that, because these exist. So it's a lot of tight little areas like that, but it is pretty tough timing, because if you spend too long, you don't get the initial boost that you need to get. Like that. Oh, I messed up. Yeah, I'm definitely not being this level. Oh yeah, this part. So this part, I actually remember. Do something like that. So the idea behind that is you can cancel your upwards momentum by going down. So if you can't tell by now, in most of my levels I like to introduce some new different mechanic or gimmick in each part, so it's not the same thing. It follows like a central theme, but then each part is like a little different. Gives a little twist to it. So this is where we kind of shake things up a bit, where you gotta drill at the right time. Oh, I'm surprised I remember this. So this is where we throw another twist, right? You get another propeller power up. So you'd be like, oh, you get two. We need them both. And you need to keep this one to the end so you can get up here. I think you might be able to make it without the power up, but whatever. So we throw in the shell jumps, because you always gotta throw in the shell jumps, right? And also the munchers, because F spikes. Spikes are ugly. Munchers are great. Only when they're on the ground. So yeah, I force you to pick up the shell. So that's another thing you see in kaizo levels. You kind of need everything you get. And you reuse items most of the time. So that's where you got to pick up this shell and throw it off here. Do some wall jumps, because wall jumps exist in New Super Mario Bros. Gotta use them. And at the same time while you do all this, you gotta make sure that you beat the propellers so that you can grab it right here. I probably should put coins here, but I did not think of visual cues before this time. And this part takes advantage of invincibility frames. So obviously if you get a propeller power up when you already have one, it does nothing. So that's why you gotta go small. Alright, you go small, or I guess big, and then you grab the propeller, and then you have to damage boost through these so that you get the propeller. And then you do this part, which I don't know what this part is. What is this part? Oh, I think it's wall jumps. Sub tesseracts. Oh, this one's a hard one. I remember this one gave a lot of people trouble. The intended way, at least. There's like cheese again. So I put a block here as a visual cue, because without this block it'd be a little harder to time this. And you can see the spikes are carefully laid out, because you see the path that Mario goes, it basically parallels with the spikes. So the idea here is you need to drill these blocks before the thwomp knocks your noggin, like that. And when you're already in propeller form, you can't wall jump, right? I'm pressing the B button and it won't let me wall jump. So the intended way is you drill this block and you have to stop falling down, because making you fall down goes hella fast. So if you go down hella fast, you will make the next block. But you also need to make sure that you're not on the block, because you can't drill, otherwise you just duck. So that's why you gotta like do this pretty carefully. Like that. And if you spend too long, the thwomp will damage you. And again, you want to keep the propeller the entire way. This is a hard level, man. What was I on when I made this? And sometimes if you're too close to the block, I think you won't drill. But yeah, that's the intended way. So something like that. And then you get down to here. I think the cheese is just. I think you like land on this, and you do that. I think that's the cheese. So again, you can't wall jump when you're already propelling, so that's why we do wall jumps first. Like that. Lol, dude. Coin blocks. Oh, yeah, so we have coin blocks here to prevent you from just going straight to the goal. Oh, this one was the hardest part of the level, actually. So when you think you're almost done, you actually do take damage on the thwomp. Because taking damage on the thwomp as you're spinning lets you do a wall jump. And sometimes I think it gives you a spin jump off the thwomp. Oh no, I think you jump off the thwomp and then do a wall jump, and you gotta twirl to the end, because twirling while you're in the air makes you fall slower. So if you don't twirl, you just fall down here. So that's why you gotta like do some twirls. So I guess we'll try this. See if I'm gonna do the ending. Yeah, like that. I thought about putting some more munchers here so that you had to be big, but I think it was sufficient enough just to do this, because there's, I guess in my mind, there's no way you'd get here without the propeller. See, that's the intended way. You just gotta drill, take damage, jump off the thwomp, do a nice little wall jump, twirl to the end, and boom, you did it. Another cement block here for a visual cue. So it was kind of nice with visual cues, but it was also to help me. You don't want to be too close to the wall, because otherwise that'll happen. Because you need, I guess you do need to land on the thwomp, and if you are too close to the wall, you won't land on the thwomp, and I think you just slide on the wall instead. And you need to be like probably this high, I'd say, to clear this gap. And that's pretty much Propeller. It's called Propheller because it's a play on propeller, but the PH for the so Propheller. I think it's just because it spells out the word hell, and if you add the H, and that's why we have a little lava thing, because lava's cool, makes it scary. Looks like hell. Yo, Blue Coaster, thanks for the host. Yeah, that's basically the soul. One of the first, I think one of the first souls to force keeping the power up. So again, in Kaizo, you're basically forced to work with what you're given, and it's never good to like discard what you have early. It's a very common theme. You always gotta discard things at the latest possible time. So in this case, you need to take damage the latest possible time. And that's Propeller.